On your mark, get set. 2025. I forgot the year for a second there. Hello and welcome.
Here we come.
Here we go. Here we come. 2025. Welcome everyone to the GGG Podcast. It is episode 61, the first episode of 2025. Very excited to be back. We have been off for 2 weeks. I know so many of you out there have been missing us. Shout out to our 328 subscribers. Love to see it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Please like this video. If you want to support us, we really appreciate it. And if you're listening to the audio-only version over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow us over there as well. I'm happy to be back with my podcast co-host, Phil. Phil, did you have a good holiday? Did you get up to some gaming things? Or did you just play Magic the whole time? What happened?
I played not that much Magic, but I played so much Marvel Rivals that I feel like I forgot what other games are.
Okay, great. Well,
you know what? Oh wait, you know what else I played was Forspoken on PlayStation.
No way!
I wanted to give it a shot. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It is a conflict of interest on this game. A friend of mine, Monica, is the lead voice, and another friend of mine wrote on it.
Sure.
But it's pretty fun. You do magical parkour.
I
fought a dragon. I'm not having a bad time. At free, it is a great value. Let me say that.
A lot of things are great value at free.
True.
So including this month's free PlayStation Plus game, Suicide Squad. So great value at $0, 0 cents.
Exactly as much as you should pay for that game, I think.
So you getting into Marvel Rivals? Like how many hours? Or I don't know. Maybe you don't want to disclose that, but like.
Hold on. Let me go on Steam right now and get sad. I have played it. Hold loading.
I thought you were playing on PlayStation.
No, I'm a PC boy. 66 and a half hours on Steam.
Wow. All right. Commendable. I put in some Marvel Rivals time myself, but definitely not as much. I managed to and ranked climb out of bronze, so I'm happy about that. Cool. So I am silver 3 and gonna keep pushing. But yeah, it's definitely the game has now been out long enough. I feel like people know the characters and are good with them.
People are getting a little too good, which is we'll talk more about it in the season 1 update part of the show, but I will say I feel like I fell into an Iron Man main situation.
Sure. Which
feels great. He's very good. And a lot of people just forget to look up. So
yeah, excellent. They do. Yes. There have been numerous, like what's a really annoying combination for me when I'm playing that game is when there's a Star-Lord and an Iron Man. And it's just constantly like, where is he? Something's shooting at me. As usual, the tank is our tank is diving the other team instead of protecting anything and being attacked.
Yeah.
So
he has forgotten the healers exist. He's in a different time zone, playing a completely different game. He's out here playing checkers when the rest of us are playing Marvel Rivals.
All right, so Marvel Rivals, Forspoken. Any other games that you played over the holiday break?
I played a dash of Sonic, the new Sonic game, where not the Shadow one.
Frontiers?
Sonic Frontiers.
Okay,
Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah. That was another PS Plus game, yeah?
Yeah, it was in the catalog, so I gave that one a shot. Also really fun. Like, it kind of captures that feeling. I saw Sonic 3, the movie, as well, which I feel like counts as video games.
Sure, yes.
And that's what kind of got me all riled up to play a Sonic game. And I will say it did not disappoint. I haven't finished it, but I've enjoyed my time with it, so.
Right on. Well, yeah, I had a friend who tested for Sonic Frontiers, did QA, so he made sure it was good before it went
Good, yeah. Tell him I like the rings.
Okay, yeah, that was his idea. As for me, I played a number of things over the break, including Marvel Rivals. I picked up Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon. I'm like I'm kind of lukewarm on it. Like it's definitely a fun game, but I'm happy that I bought it at a discounted price because I'll be honest, like that game does not feel like a $70 purchase by any means. Like there's no story. Like a lot of the missions, and to be fair, I probably only put like 2 hours into it, but a lot of the missions are like kill the enemies, and I was like, okay, I did that. Now what? And like that's the mission. And I was like, oh, okay. Now what? Back to the menu. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So it's just it's very simplistic. It really kind of feels like I'm sure it's going to get more complicated and the boss battles are going to be cool and everything like that. But it definitely feels like it's a game that should have launched like around $50 or something like that. Like a $70 title for a game that just doesn't really have a lot going on. I mean, but it does scratch that mech itch.
That mechish itch.
Yes.
That game is interesting because it is. I played it when it launched, so I paid either like $60 or $70 for it, and I was enjoying it. And then I kind of hit a wall where I was just like, okay. But I think the game was starting to hint at something more, like with the narrative layered underneath the main narrative. So like it made the go kill this person like a little bit more impactful. But I did find myself grinding a lot just to like get money, to get parts, to do this, to do that. All that to say, I think like the mech combat in it still so good, still so
yeah,
good.
it's a great arcadey game. I honestly thought it was going to be more complicated than it is. Like I thought I'd have to be like, driving a car in manual, except I'm driving 6 cars in manual at the same time. Like
yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator Armored Core would be a game I would try to play. I would not succeed, but it sounds fun.
Exactly. But the game that I really want to talk about that I've spent really this last weekend playing quite a bit is Star Wars Outlaws that my dad got me for Christmas. And it's one of the few physical PS5 games that I own. But yeah, I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws, and I have to say it is the most inconsistent video game I've ever played in my entire life. Like and I've put hours into it. Like I'm into the game now. I've probably put 15 to 20 hours in, and I get the rundown of how the game works and everything like that. But the game is so all over the place as far as even just the cutscenes. Like one cutscene will look like it's from like Assassin's Creed 2, and the next cutscene will be like, this looks like a snippet of Secret Level. Like, and you're like, there's no consistency or anything here. And I think the thing that keeps me playing it is I really just want a Star Wars RPG, because like I really don't know who this game is for. I feel like it's for like 12 and 13-year-olds, and that's it. And like, because it's not written kind of with any kind of mature ideas or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just you played it way back when it actually came out on Ubisoft Plus. So it's like it's not a horrible game by any means, but it's just like the game. I will say the gameplay is bad. I like on the plus side of it, I think that the world design is great. It has a great world design. Like it fully captures that ambiance and that feeling of like I'm walking into a Star Wars cantina. Like absolutely fantastic. And I will also say like the cartel system, the syndicates, like I like that. I like, you do a mission, it makes these guys happy, but it pisses off these guys. Like I like that dynamic. It kind of reminded me of the Shadow of Mordor. It's not the same dynamic at all, but it reminded me of like, this is a good system that affects the environment, with my choices and everything like that. But everything aside from those two things, like,
yeah. Now, listen, I want to interject here and say that I wish that somehow the rights could be acquired, that Star Wars could make a bounty hunter game that uses the Nemesis system and the Syndicate system,
Yes.
I would be all in.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yes. Oh my god.
But yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. There was a mission where I stopped playing the game, and I was like, I'm basically renting it from Ubisoft Plus right now, so what is the point? But there is a mission where you are on a Imperial ship, you're trying to sneak around, and the game has very, very inconsistent sneak mechanics and I'm trying to think of the right word, predicates on when you will be seen or not seen, or like what you can do outside of the cone of view of somebody. It took me hours to run around this big level, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Why?
Yeah, it is. And thankfully, like, I've played it with updates. So it's like I can tell that the sneaking is like they let you get away with things a little bit easier now, which is good. But I have the problem all the time of like, where am I supposed to be going? Like, he said, oh, it's in the back room. It's like, well, what is the back of the building depending on the way I came up to this area? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And like, you'd think in an advanced space society, they would have figured out some sort of navigation system that isn't the cardinal directions on a compass at the top of the screen. Like, you know, and it's like, you don't even have to integrate it into like what Kay has. And like, that's another thing. Like, the character is awful. Like, I can't name you a positive quality that she has. 'Cause like, I feel like the idea of the character was, we're going to make femme Han Solo. And there's nothing, I'm fine with that. Like, but the thing is that she's not that. She's not confident. She's not funny. She's not, you know, witty or smart. Like, every dialogue interaction that she has, no matter how deep I get into the game, it's like, can you do this, Kay? And she's like, I mean, like, maybe. It's like everybody's talking to like this 13-year-old. They're like, hey, you want to do this under black market deal, you know, 13-year-old girl? Like,
she's like, I gotta ask my parents. Hey, there is one redeeming fact about Kay, and that is that she has a cool newt pet whose name I also forget.
Oh god, I don't even remember. The pet is,
I think it's
Nix.
Giggles or something.
Nix.
Nix
is cute. And I like how they incorporate Nyx, but essentially after you like get through the beginning of the game, Nyx is kind of like a non-factor, most other than like going to grab you stuff you can't reach. Anyway, I'm having a frustrating time with it because I love Star Wars so much, and it makes me crave a Star Wars like mercenary RPG where you actually like get to like build a character and decide what kind of mercenary do you want to be. Do you want to be a mercenary who works for the Empire or helps the rebels? Or do you want to stay out of politics, you know, and work for syndicates? Or do you want to be a bounty hunter or a smuggler? It's like, that would be so much more interesting than this thrown together. Blech. Anyway, all right, that's my outlaw soapbox.
Like, we need a Mandalorian game, but
Yes.
you're not Jin Djarin, you're another Mandalorian who is either a bounty hunter or this or that, and you're making your way in the universe. Give us the okay, first of all, Disney, give us money for this idea. Put the Nemesis system in there for like rising crime bosses. I've been trying to rack my brain about what else could use the Nemesis system for years, and I was like, okay, maybe a Batman game where you like develop supervillains by they grow as nemesises. But that would be really hard to do, and like, I'm sure quality issues. But in Star Wars' infinite universe, you could so easily make like Juga Hutt, and he's like just a rising crime boss. Like, well, yeah, I get that. You know, there's something to be said for a piece of art that is kind of so upsetting that it inspires you, and that's what Star Wars Outlaws is.
Yes.
You know?
I'm gonna beat it because, you know, if you hate something, the best way to, you know, hate on it is experiencing all
to
of
get through it. I have been also playing Balatro. I've been playing on my phone, and I can't stop. So
Isn't it?
that's
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I think if I had played it before our list, it might be higher up. I would have fought for it to be higher on the list because it is incredible.
Okay, well, I'm glad you came around. That's the important part. All right, time for a palate cleanser. So we have one major release this week, and that is Cats of Mona Lisa. If you're wondering what in the hell is that game, I was wondering this as well. This is a kind of a Where's Waldo game. It is $5 currently on sale for $4 on Steam, and you're looking through. I don't know if it's specifically specific artists paintings, but you're looking for cats in these old paintings. So it's just what is this? Does this genre have a name that I'm forgetting, Phil?
It's like I'm trying to think of the right word. It is damn. Nope. Yep. I can't.
No,
I can't think of
I'm
it.
gonna go to the Steam page, and we're gonna see
Yeah.
if it actually describes it.
Cats.
No, just genre casual. All right. Well,
Oh, a hidden object game.
hidden object game. That's what we were thinking of. Okay. Well, yeah. So that's fun. If you just like fun, chill games like that, it's $4 on Steam right now. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Think of it as Where's Waldo in Renaissance paintings with cats. That's it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think there's a niche market for that somewhere. I really do. So.
Oh, do you know how many Where's Waldo books there are? Thousands.
All right, well, let's get into the news. So, Helldivers had quite a bit of news over the last 2 weeks. Some of this is a little bit old, but I want to make sure that we mention it, just get through it a little bit. So, first up, and I think this happened like right as we recorded the last podcast of 2024. So Helldivers 2 got a Killzone collaboration. I am a huge Killzone fan. I love that this happened. As soon as they put it up on the Superstore, I bought all of the Killzone stuff. And yes, was it a little bit too much money? It was. But I think honestly it was like $20 or something like that for everything. And so a lot of Helldivers fans didn't like this pricing, and they complained, as Helldivers fans tend to do. And in response to this, Sony and Arrowhead put out that they would be releasing all of the future Killzone collaboration equipment and costumes for free at no charge to every single player in the game. And so everybody who logged in, you got a free Killzone outfit. And there were a lot of weapons that they actually gave out for free, including most recently a rocket stratagem. That was a really great game, a really great gun in Killzone 3 in particular. And so, there's new rocket stratagem, smart rocket stratagem in there, as well as like a sniper rifle, submachine gun, assault rifle, and other stuff. So that I'm forgetting off the top of my head right now. But that's really cool. And they also said that they would be doing future collaborations, but they are going to limit those collaborations so that they kind of fit the genre of the game. So they don't want to go the Call of Duty route of turning your LMG into a farting unicorn. But which I think is good. I think it's good to have, to have a line somewhere. So that's good. Did you play any Helldivers during this break at all, or check out any of the Killzone stuff?
I did. I played a match, and I just, as far as I saw, I only had the armor. That means I probably just didn't dig through my weapons enough to see the weapons in there. But it was pretty cool. I think like the newest update, I really need to get like a full squad of people playing. Like I think Helldivers is the most fun when I'm playing with all people friends. I know. I don't like playing with randoms that much. Yeah,
totally.
So it's just getting everyone to be like, all right, install it up again. Like we got to have at least 8 people who have it so that 3 people can play together possibly at a time.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's interesting that there was backlash because the game has been very generous with its content, and sure they've kind of had like season passes and everything, but it is kind of a weird thing for them to be upset about. I think maybe this is what we're seeing, like the first signs of Helldivers and Sony being like, okay, well, how do we make this make us some more money, or how do we make this like a little bit more profitable?
Right.
This was that first experiment, and kind of a success, kind of a miss at the same time. I'm very hopeful for them to like find a better balance of it for their next crossover, which I'm hoping will be Horizon Zero Dawn. I just want like a cool bow that I'm like shooting Tyranids with. But
well, same
yeah,
company
I don't know.
as Killzone, so very
Might as
likely.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Like, I didn't mind paying the $20. It is like the most expensive Helldiver stuff in the Superstore. But that being said, it's like, I guess just my mature brain of like, okay, this is now two companies trying to wet their beak here. Because Guerrilla Games has to get a cut now. So they have to drive the price up. And frankly, like for everything being $20, like pretty sure like some Marvel Rivals skins are $20 for one skin. So check yourself, Helldivers, a little bit. Like it's okay. It's okay. And also you don't have to buy it. Nothing is making you buy it. Like so
If you bought the base game, you get a lot of the stuff. Well, you know what I would say is the biggest, more like egregious thing is the sort of battle passes that release seasonally for Helldivers, because that's $10, and then like you have access to a new gun or a new stratagem versus a new kind of skin. And it's weird that is, because it's $10 and you like get the chance to unlock stuff, more acceptable than a skin pack that doesn't influence the game being. Yeah, it's weird. It's gamers are weird.
Yes, they are. They're very particular people. But as am I. So yeah. All right. So continuing on. So Helldivers and continuing with Horizon have been announced officially. Helldivers and Horizon will be getting made into full produced motion pictures. They have been greenlit by Sony. By Columbia Pictures. This goes along with the Ghost of Tsushima show. And I think there's a Ghost of Tsushima show that's coming, and then there's a Ghost of Tsushima anime. And I think that they're two different projects. But I'll look for some clarification on that. But yeah, I'll be honest. I don't love this. I love video games, and I love Sony's first party games. Like I feel like they have a really good standard of quality there, but I also like leaving things in their media, and I am against just squeezing an IP for every ounce of money that you can, and you're just greenlighting things because they're connected to an IP instead of trying to tell an interesting story and then greenlighting the project because it has a good script. This is something that James Gunn talked about recently. And he was doing like a little media spree when Creature Commandos launched on HBO Max. And it's something that I agree with a lot, even though I'm not really a big DC fan. But I don't want to see every IP that Sony has squeezed into all these other different things, because I think the quality is going to go down. And frankly, I don't really have a lot of faith in Sony's movie producing skills coming off of the Venom trilogy. I think that Columbia Pictures makes good normal movies that are not fantasy, that are not sci-fi, like normal movies. They do a great job with that. But
when it comes to having a lot of silly fun, they're not good at it.
They don't know what they're doing. So I don't know. I'm not excited about this at all. I'm quite worried. What's your impression, Phil?
All I can say is that if they make a Helldivers movie, Casper Van Dien needs to be in the cast. That's right. That's Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers. He needs to be in the movie as some sort of respect paid to making basically Starship Troopers the movie. I don't really know how you would make that movie also. Because it would be Starship Troopers with Terminator stuff. I think it would have to be kind of like a weird comedy in its own right, which Starship Troopers kind of was.
Yeah, like I don't know how you find the balance that where like the Helldivers 2 has a fantastic introduction sequence, like the cinematic. It's kind of iconic by this point now. Everybody knows it. but I don't know how you sustain that comedy through an entire movie. I don't know that works. I do know that there are some rumors about, I think it's like a Helldivers novel that was released a while ago, and it talks about how the average life expectancy of a Helldiver is 9 dives, and it follows this one character who has dived 96 times. And so he's kind of like a legend. He's like the
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So maybe that's what the movie will be about, and that might be a good part for John Rico, because he'd be like, oh, he's a little older. It would make sense that he's an older Helldiver, and there are no older Helldivers because you die before that happens.
Die at a ripe old 26, typically.
Yep. So I don't know. I'm curious, but not hopeful with all this business. Yeah.
And for that, to build on that, Horizon, I feel like, is an even less workable concept, because I feel like, Sadie Sink is right there. She would make, I'm sure she has like the emotional range to make Aloy like very interesting. However, I will say, like, Aloy the character is very interesting in her own right, but to condense what is probably a 40-hour story into 2 hours, or even like part of that.
Yeah.
And let's say you do 3 movies and you make it 6 hours worth of story. There is nothing that makes me excited about that, because I've seen it failed so many times, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, or rather just The Last Airbender. Anytime they take something huge and compress it down, even The Last of Us, which I think was excellent, had some moments where I was like, well, I would have liked to see more of this, because I got to see more of their relationship in the game, and I got to see more just context.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bad idea, and they should not do it. Hopefully, I mean, most likely they will at least cancel one of these 2 projects.
I hope so. I'd like cancel it all. I don't need it. Keep working on Helldivers. Give me Horizon 3, or give me the next Killzone game. I make video games. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Speaking of making video games, Phil, we got some Nintendo Switch news. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone whenever we talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. What's going on this time?
Well, so there's been Nintendo Switch rumors, a lot of leaks, a lot of stuff regarding, this Joy-Con, they're trying to get rid of stick drift. Are they going to talk about that publicly when they release? The rule is, I believe they're supposed to release before March of this year. Or not release, but like announce before March of this year.
Right.
That's when they have said. But I will say that I don't think that they will.
I don't believe it for a second. For a second.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep pushing back. But what I will say is that recently a Switch 2 carrying case was popped up on Amazon and quickly got taken down. A pre-order for it. I don't know when that pre-order date was. So all I'm saying is hopefully we're soon, but most importantly, Nintendo Switch players are reporting that their new games that they buy sealed in cases are coming, and when they pop open the case, there's just a googly eye in there. And it is happening in lots of different places. It is recognizable enough that like lots of people have come together on Reddit. IGN's reporting on it. This is kind of a big deal. The googly eye game bandit is stricken the world, and taken away the likes of the Nintendo Switch Zelda remaster, or
that's
the Nintendo Switch Mario remaster.
That's got to be problems at like the packaging facility, right? Like, so do you know where they do their packaging or anything like that? Is it in Japan or?
It's tough to say. I'm sure they have American partners that are doing packaging out here for like their American labels and all that stuff. And shrink wrap is easy to redo. There's lots of points on the trail that the game goes along that it could be interfered with or tampered with.
Sure.
But it is just such an interesting thing that someone is taking these games and putting googly eyes in. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know if this is a Switch 2 promotional thing. Like, Japan likes to do some weird stuff.
You want to
This
piss
would be
off a bunch
crossing
of
a line for Nintendo.
Yeah, piss off a bunch of
Yeah.
customers. That's not what. Yeah, there's some shady stuff going on.
Nintendo loves to piss off their customers. I will say that is like one of their favorite things.
I don't think that they love it. I just think they don't care. Like they're like, we know you're gonna buy it anyway. Doesn't matter. Like,
I would love it if word came out of Nintendo and they were like Shigeru Miyamoto was like, yeah, I put the googly eyes in there. Still $60. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's a very weird story. And like if you're having trouble understanding what we're talking literally someone is putting googly eyes in the place of where the Nintendo Switch cartridge is in a physical case of the game. That is what's happening. So like that is very odd, and yeah, I think it's even more interesting that they're even replacing anything with it. So it's maybe it's like weighted. And that's how Nintendo checks it. It's like is a certain weight, and so they're like doing an Indiana Jones thing, where they gotta match the weight. I don't know, but otherwise, if they're just doing the googly eyes for the hell of it, like that's so weird. It's very V for Vendetta for the wrong reasons.
Weird connective story here. A friend of mine who I went to MagicCon with this past year. Was taking googly eyes and putting them all over different posters and art pieces. Not like art pieces, but, promotional stuff on, like, the different characters all throughout the weekend. And he did get some notoriety for it. I can confirm that this is not him, but googly eyes are coming back.
Do you know it's not him?
It might be an A24 Everything Everywhere All at Once promotion that just, happened late.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all for that. Switch
right.
2's never coming out, but googly eyes are all the rage.
Yes, they are. All right, moving along. So Monster Hunter Wilds, we got some more gameplay for today. You've probably seen it already on the YouTubes, but some new monster gameplay, some monsters fighting. And honestly, it's I will say just the footage of it looked a lot better performance-wise. It looked like the frame they have stabilized the frame rate, and it looked to be in a playable state. I believe the footage that was released was IGN getting to actually play the game hands-on, so that was nice. While the performance looked good, I was a little disappointed in that the graphics seemed like now almost identical to Monster Hunter Worlds. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it also could have been the environment, because it all seemed to take place like in a cave underground, like in this mucky slush and whatnot. And all the other Monster Hunter Wilds footage I feel like we've seen has been like on the surface during the day. You see the lighting effects, and the lighting looks really good in it from what I've seen. So I don't know. It looks good. I'm glad that they're showing that it's running better. So that's a good positive to take away from it.
Yeah, I'll say, having watched the video, the thing that I was taken away with, and it's something Monster Hunter World does really, really well as well, is the creature movement and I would say mocap, but not mocap. Like, just the behavioral design of these creatures is really, really good. Seeing them in their natural state, but also seeing their attacks. This monster that we see is kind of like this squid bipedal looking thing. Like, it is not your normal, very like Japanese fairy tale looking monster. This is more of like a gross, like Gen 5 Pokemon monster.
Yeah, like Sauron, Season 2, Rings of Power.
Yeah, just a goop monster.
A goop monster. Spoiler. Not really.
But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow is in the game. Yeah, no, very excited about this game. I am kind of like, every time I see a little bit about it, I'm like, all right, that's coming out. Can't wait. Can't think about it too much, or I'll get bummed out that I don't have it already. So that,
well, it's coming. It's coming
one of those
soon.
I know I'm gonna play.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
First quarter. All right, a game that may come soon. Who knows? Assassin's Creed Shadows. As we talked about a lot last year, Ubisoft is going through a big transition. coming off of their huge Skull and Bones failure, coming off of a mediocre Star Wars game that I just complained about for 10 minutes at the beginning of the episode. And so they did delay Assassin's Creed Shadows to this year, and they're continuing to work on it and make adjustments which, hey, it's like, if you can make the game better, like, by all means. And they are going, dialing the clock back a little when it comes to their parkour in particular. One of my complaints in some of the most recent Assassin's Creed games is that the parkour is kind of automatic. You just hold a button and you run at a thing and you'll climb it up no matter what. Whereas, like, in the old Assassin's Creed games, it's like there's a parkour mode, a button you hold, but you still have to, like, jump and grab. And there are active things that you're doing while you're doing the platforming. And while it may seem a little annoying, it forces you to engage with it a little bit more, which I kind of like. And it presents a little bit more of a challenge to platforming that isn't so mindless. So they are adding that back into the game, where it's like, now you have to press a button to grab things and stuff like that. So I think this is a good step backwards, which is not usually a sentence I say very often. But yeah, this is a good change. I hope it comes with many other changes as well. But some of the other gameplay that has been shown for Shadows has looked really good. So I'm still optimistic about it. Have you gotten a chance to see any of this or read about it, Phil?
Yeah, I've seen some of the new movement that they've added in too. I feel like they're making the parkour a little bit less ridiculous, I guess. And by that I mean, like, I think not Brotherhood, Syndicate was the one that I really kind of lost interest in the parkour in.
Yeah.
It was, you had like a grappling hook and you were jumping across like these 30-foot gaps,
You
which
were
is these
Batman.
big leaps.
You were Batman.
You were Batman.
Like-
Yeah, and it felt so boring because part of the charm of those games is like, wait, how do I get into this building? How do I kill that person? All right, I have to get up here, shimmy across that ledge, do this, do that, to find all the ways to get there. And since I'd say probably Brotherhood or the Altair and Ezio series, there has been none of that, or very little of that.
Yeah.
So cool to see it coming back. And I think what they've done that's kind of smart is with Yasuke, you'll probably get the more like streamlined parkour action that you had as Eivor in Valhalla. And with what is it's One? No, I can't remember the Naue, not now. Something like Noe.
Yes.
You will get more of the like stealth stuff because she's a shadow. I even saw a really cool piece of the game where she lays down on the ground, rolls out of a bush, and then stabs one from a prone position, pulls him into the bush, and then like crawls along. So it'll be a lot of
That's awesome. That's awesome.
much better. There's also like you have the ability when doing parkour over something to like scale it or to leap over it and like do a sort of dive roll. Which again, when I first played the Assassin's Creed games, I would, after I finished the game and I was in New Game Plus, I would just like go upset security and then have them chase me and see how long it would take me to lose them. Because that was like a game in and of itself, and the mastery of, okay, if I can do this parkour chain perfectly, they won't be able to get to me. So, all this to say, hopefully we're seeing that come back. I am actually still very excited for this game. I think I've kind of had this hole in my heart for when it was supposed to launch of like a big open world kind of stealthy game. I played a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, which is really tough to play that and then expect anything else to be as good. But fingers are crossed for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right. Well, with that, we are moving into our main topic, which has got to be Marvel Rivals, because it's still all the rage. And we got a ton of news, both today and over this last week, about Season 1. It was announced, I believe it was last week, that the Fantastic Four would be coming to the game. There was the next 4 characters to be added. and that they were all coming in season 1. It wasn't just one of them, and they were going to spread it out. It's like, oh no, this is all of the content we're going to launch. And so we got some details about it today, and just some clarifying points for people who want to know exactly when things are coming out. So this is the beginning of season 1. Up until now, it has been season 0. There is going to be another battle pass. And apparently one of the complaints that I had about the first battle pass, season 0, was I think there was like 4 skins, I want to say, maybe 5 tops in season 0. And now in season 1, there will be 10. Which is like great.
Yeah.
That for me, that's one of my major complaints. I did not enjoy the battle pass in this game. I thought it was very kind of mediocre. But
blew right through it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you get through it and it's like, okay, and give me an opportunity to earn something. Like I feel like still the thing with Marvel Rivals for me is the progression is a little cloudy. I want to say it's like I don't know where I'm making progress necessarily. Like, I mean, I can go through the achievements. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Marvel Rivals Season 1. They're splitting up the Fantastic Four, so Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman will be added to the game first as the first half of Season 1, along with 2 new maps. And then in the second half of Season 1, they will be adding Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and the Thing, as well as another map into the game and another mode that they are adding into the game. But for the first half, it is just Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, and the 2 new maps, as far as I'm aware. And I believe the heroes will be of no charge. They're free like all the other heroes are, which is great. And the footage, have you gotten a chance to see the footage of the 2 new characters?
Oh yeah, they play so interestingly. I'm really excited to get to mess around. Like Susan Storm looks so fun. She looks so fun and so like so I'm getting ahead of myself. She's a strategist. Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards surprisingly is a duelist. I think we all thought he'd be a tank or what are they called in this game? A
Vanguard or something.
Vanguard. Yeah. But he seems to be one of the tankier versions of a duelist, so the game is really giving us so much variety with these characters. The other thing that's crazy to me is, like, Overwatch would drop 1 new hero every couple of seasons.
Every, like, 3 months, I want to say. Like,
yeah. Most games drop new characters with, like, new gameplay mechanics so rarely. And Nettie's just like, hey, we prepared 4... probably when this season is done, we're going to give you Blade, most likely, just based on the story. I was watching a video earlier today about the story of Marvel Rivals and how it seems like stuff is intersecting with the comics in a weird way that is most likely that we will get Blade after this event, which makes sense because Blade vampires.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know?
Hopefully no more.
I do have
no Morbius, please. I'm good. I don't need Morbius.
Nope, we're good without Morbius. It's Morbid time. I did find the leaked battle pass, like what's on it.
Ooh.
So some fun news here. There is just a basic description of the skins. Blood Moon Knight. It is Moon Knight, but his color scheme is black and red. Very cool.
Love it.
Bounty Hunter Rocket, which is like he's got that steampunk look. If you played the beta, you saw a couple Bounty Hunter rockets going around.
Okay. Yeah.
A blue skin for Penny Parker and Spider.
Okay.
King Magnus. It is a Magneto skin, but he's like got like little shoulder pauldrons and like a royal vest.
Ooh. Okay.
Looks really cool. Savage Submariner. It is the Submariner with a crown. That's pretty much it. The Blood Edge armor for Iron Man. It makes him look like a knight, like he's wearing kind of like a black suit, but with like a metal helmet and gold like adornments.
Okay.
And
so very vampiric.
Blood Soul.
Like that's obviously the theme. Yeah.
A sort of Adam Warlock skin that looks very vampiric inspired. He's got a gold face, but like with red and black clothing draped over him. A new skin for Wanda that makes her look like the bride of Dracula. And the Blood Berserker skin for Wolverine that gives him a very Van Helsing look.
Okay.
complete with a wallet chain for some reason. And then at the very end of that is a picture of the Fantastic Four, as they love to put for some reason at the end of this battle pass, like a cool photograph.
It's like, yeah, you get a card. It's like, okay.
You did it.
You did
Enjoy.
it. Okay, well that sounds pretty good. That immediately sounds better than the initial battle pass. So that's good. And I believe
So much in there, right?
yeah, and I think that the price is staying the same, so it's still going to be like around $10 or like 900. They have like three different currencies in that game. I don't remember the name of all of them. So that's pretty good. Yeah, it's really interesting with Mr. Fantastic. I mean, I kind of suspected he would be DPS because the Thing is so obviously a tank.
Yeah.
But I think in many of these games where they start out with, oh, well, there's the support and then there's the tank and then there's the damage. It's inevitably, I feel like, in the DPS category, because no matter what game it is that splits up into classes like that, inevitably you will get DPS classes that are kind of like bruisers. Like I would call like Wolverine is technically a DPS, but he's kind of, I would call him a bruiser because he's a up close melee. He can take some hits, you know, but he's technically a DPS, but he can kind of sort of fill that tank role, not by himself, but if like there's another, if he's like next to the Hulk, that could work, you know? So,
oh yeah,
I think like that's kind of what Mr. Fantastic seems like he is, where he can do a little bit of both. So he looks really cool. And honestly, it's good to see Mr. Fantastic in a video game where his powers look good because it's cartoony and not in a movie where his powers look ridiculous. So, like, so that I appreciate that quite a bit.
Yeah, I really so his kit is pretty cool. Like his ult seems to be he jumps up in the air and kind of does something to what or similar to what the Winter Soldier does, where he like bashes down on the people below him. Seemingly, the more damage you do with it, the more you hit, the further you can extend it. That's just my estimation.
Okay.
He also seems to be able to return ults. There's a video, or in the video they showed us, Iron Man uses his pulse beam and like fires it, and Reed Richards catches it and sends it right back at him. And another really cool thing that I saw him do is he grabbed an Iron Man and a Captain America and slammed them together with his two different arms.
I wonder how that's gonna work in the game, but that's really cool. That's really cool being able to grab two people and smack them together. So that's
games like this using physics like that. I'm like impressive, so incredible. Sue Storm enters some interesting stuff in the game too, because she has like, you know, healing bubble, a shield, she can heal people, but she also her ult is she makes everyone in range invisible, which is pretty cool. So healers can't see from the other team who they're supposed to be healing, and DPS can't see who they're supposed to be hitting on the other side of this field. As well as she has a field that she sends out that slows down enemies and does damage to them over time. So almost like Moon Knight's Ankh, except you don't need to fire at it. It just sits there and takes damage or gives out damage for a little bit of time.
Right on.
Pretty cool.
I wonder if that will impact like auto lock healers like Adam Warlock or Mantis, where like, you know, like Luna Snow, you can just like fire, or Loki, you know, you can just fire, and as long as you hit somebody, it'll heal them. But if for Adam Warlock, if I can't lock on to anything, I can't heal anybody. So I'm wondering if that'll mess with that or not. That should be interesting. But
healers to combat other healers. Great.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I think that this is a lot of content for season 1, and immediately the Overwatch community's furious. But like also, guys, it's Overwatch has been out for a long time. Like, and I think we've all come to the realization, as much as many of us have not wanted to, that Overwatch 2 is just Overwatch. And it's just been a continuation of when the game originally came out in like what, 2015, 2016, something like that. So like it's been out for a long time. It's time to let somebody else have a whack at this genre. and Marvel Rivals is taking off with it. So I'm also really excited that they're adding a new mode. Like, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Even the event, the Jeff the Shark event over Christmas. Like, I didn't play it too. I got through it so I could get like the Jeff the Shark skin. But that was even a fun time. It was chaos, but it was a fun time. So I really enjoyed it.
You could never tell if you were going to win that game up until the last 3 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
That's just the way that worked.
Yes. And you just play it enough that it's a 50-50 chance, that you'll get the W.
Flipping the old coin.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I'm glad that the game has had such success, and like they're continuing to go strong, and so that's really cool. And I'm glad that you're really into it. I'm getting into it. What are you in ranked right now? How high are you, good sir?
I haven't really messed around with ranked. I just go in and do my dailies every day, and it's
okay.
That's how I've gotten good. But I'm like level 35 in the game now.
Wow. All right.
That's just like from getting experience. So
yeah. I gotta focus more up on the missions, because I kind of just play and I'm not like, oh, who's the character I should be playing as right now? I need to play as Storm, and I never play as Storm. That kind of crap.
I realized that I am not getting anything for the points I've been getting lately. Like, all of the stuff that I'm getting to go towards the pass is I just have like 2,000 extra chrono dollars, right. And those are going to expire when the new season starts. So
yeah, that's a bit disappointing.
Whoops.
I do wish. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be a season 1 problem, because I feel like season 2 there will be enough content, a season 0 problem, because it's like a shortened battle pass. Right. I think season 1 you will have stuff to use your points on for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully that is the case. Because I understand that it is a free to play game. They need to make money off of the store and everything like that. But most of the skins on there are going to be $20, and that's pretty steep. And so I would enjoy if they kind of maybe went like the Fall Guys route, where there is the premium store, but you can also earn like a different currency to get like, other skins and whatnot, where it's like maybe the skin doesn't look totally different, but it's Star-Lord, but instead of his classic jacket, he's in a green jacket, something like that. So you can at least earn something that way. I still think there's something in the progression that's kind of missing there for me. Because I'm like going in, I'm checking the proficiency of Adam Warlock, and I'm checking the proficiency for my main, but at the same time, it's like, ooh, if I level him up, instead of it being like an orange and yellow quad kill outline, it's a black and yellow quad kill outline, which I have to get because of Golden Glaze Gaming, of course. But
yeah,
but it's just like, I need something a little more than that to keep me going. So I would like them to tackle that. But I really like the way that Battle Pass sounded. So any more thoughts on the season update before we wrap up the show here?
Well, here's the thing. One more thing I have to say about Marvel Rivals, specifically the release of Sue Storm. I don't know if you've seen there's a new skin for Sue Storm.
Ooh,
so in the comics, Sue Storm has an alternate ego. I don't have the name right off the head, but she is in a very scantily clad outfit, and let's just say they baked a lot of cake when making this game.
Ooh,
and
boy.
The internet is responding to it in the way that the internet normally does, which is unhinged and way too honed up, so to speak.
Well, you should send me that link after we finish recording.
Yeah, I'll show you.
All right. And with that, we're going to wrap it up for episode 61 of the GGG Podcast, the first episode of 2025. Thank you, everyone, to listening to our show. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our podcast on YouTube, please do so. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Apple Podcast or Spotify, follow us over there as well. We will be back next week. Phil and I were talking. It sounds like we're going to do our 2025 predictions. So if you have any 2025 predictions, things that you think will happen this year, let us know. Will Assassin's Creed get delayed till 2026? Will the Switch 2 come out? Who knows? let's do some predictions. All right. So, yeah, I don't know how.
Assassin's Creed is launching as a Switch 2 exclusive. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Golden Glaze Gaming, baby.
Yep, it comes out and the cover's got googly eyes on it, and that's the spoiler.
That's the game.
Yes, that's the game. All right, peace out, everybody.